I want to be clear about what this is and what this isn't. What this isn't is an endorsement of a particular presidential candidate in the United States, nor is it intended to be a discussion about who's the best person, who's right, who's wrong, all those types of things. There's enough bickering, bitching, moaning, finger pointing to go around that I think it can last us all 2, 3, 4 lifetimes. I definitely do not intend, nor do I want to contribute to that. However, what this is this is just a philosophical discussion about the role politics and perhaps politicians plays in your life and in how it may perhaps influence your own personal power. If you're watching this and you have a strong opinion about either candidate, and for those of you who aren't in the United States, you may have very well heard about the circus that we call our political election and our presidential elections right now. We have two candidates running that, if I were to give an opinion about both of them, it would be best described in how South Park is currently portraying them in their current season. I think they do quite an exquisite job of doing so. And it's, to say it politely, it's kind of a shit show. I'll try to keep this fairly generalized because I know some of us on here are not from the United States and you're not treated to the delight that is our political system. But perhaps you might be able to relate to some of the colorfulness of it in your own as well. Oh, I see some creative emojis going across Facebook Live right now. How this came about, how this idea came about, and I was mulling over sharing it with you all because inevitably when politics comes up, it seems that might be the time when we start to throw some of the most vigorous punches and we really start to get nasty with one another. And I think there's something of validity here, not so much about, again, our politicians or our political system, but more for ourselves. And I hope that you come away with this looking at yourself and maybe extrapolating some of your own personal power from this and realizing that you have a lot more inside of you than it may be alluded to. We've had... I had a conversation about your Canadian Prime Minister last weekend. I heard some funny things about him. Monday night, this was 2 days ago, the 26th, we were treated to the first presidential debate. And I'm not going to lie, at one point, I was curious, I wanted to watch it, I wanted to see what happened, and I really at one point thought I needed to go and get the popcorn out. Because it was some of the stuff that was being said, some of the stuff that was going on both sides, it really, I felt like wanted popcorn. I don't think Hollywood could have written anything better than what was on display there. Am I a fan of either candidate? No. I will disclose that. I think we're in a race right now, literally, of who's not the worst candidate. I'll just be honest. That's where I'm coming from with that. And where this really came from is I had a curiosity perked inside of me in light of some of the stuff that you see going around with it. So I thought I'd test it myself. What I did was I knew of two people in my life who are, one's an adamant Trump supporter, diehard Trump supporter, and one's a diehard Clinton supporter. And these are the kinds of people that, there's no swaying, there's no talking with them about it. They're going to be, they're going to the extremes. They're those people, right? So what I tested first is I went up to I broached the subject with the Trump supporter, and somehow I cleverly and strategically interjected politics into the conversation because I wanted them to ask me who I was supporting in the election. And when they asked, I said Hillary. And when I said that, you would have thought I just slapped them across the face, and their response was something like, good luck for supporting that liar. How do you feel supporting a murderer? Something like that. Pretty typical, right? The same language and rhetoric that we've been treated to so often. So I thought, okay. And then I went over to the Clinton supporter. And the Clinton supporter, I did kind of the same thing. I can be a little sneaky like that and direct conversation in the way I wanted to go, and I wanted to ask me who I supported. They finally asked me who I could support, and you can imagine who I said. This time I said Trump. Guess what they responded? Oh, how does it feel supporting a racist? How does it feel supporting a liar, a pompous ass? What was the other language they used? A con man. Now I thought, isn't this interesting? Now what I did next was, for both of those people, I asked them a follow-up question. I said, well, why do you feel that way? And inevitably, the one who is supporting Clinton said, or the one who is supporting Trump said, well, Benghazi, emails. The one who is supporting Clinton said, inappropriate comments, building a wall, all these types of things. And when I tried to press them for more details with it, they were short on facts. They were hard to really come up with facts about why they believed it. And what I was taking away from that experience was so much of their reaction, which it wasn't like a happy, Jesse, I'm really glad you asked, blah, blah, blah. They were pissed off. I mean, any of you have ever had a conversation with somebody who's really involved in politics, you'll see them, they get really worked up, right? Their face almost turns purple because they get so worked up and pissed off about it. And these people were the same. They couldn't believe it. It was like I just, defied the gospel or something like that, that I would mention somebody's name that was not on their radar of who they supported. And when I was digging deeper, my feeling that I got from it, I see some thumbs up and hearts going across, so I'm assuming that some of you can relate to this. My feeling was when I was talking to them is that they were reacting more to sound bites. They were reacting more to sound bites, to more of, it was literally like a verbatim what you'll hear on the news media at times. It was literally like a verbatim of what you hear politicians use. Politicians talk in these very strategic, well-calculated sound bites. The reason I wanted to address this, because when I was watching the debates on Monday night, I was appalled by what I saw going on, in the sense of I've been studying psychology and humans and human behavior and why we do what we do for most of my adult life. There are certain psychological principles and linguistic principles that we can use, that when we use them, it creates it bridges quite the barrier between your unconscious mind and our conscious mind. And it is extremely effective in persuasion and influence. I saw both of our candidates using it, and the ways I saw them using it, which is what was so appalling to me, was they were using it in a way to insinuate and imply that we all need them. That they are going to come and fix things. They're going to come and help the helpless, right the wrongs. They basically both up there and trumpet their horns like they're the modern day Robin Hoods. The thing I have a problem with this is because what that implies to each and every one of us watching is that we are powerless to not help ourselves. That it's their responsibility, that they're going to shoulder the burden to come in and swoop down and help us, because we can't help ourselves. And to that I respectfully call bullshit. I call bullshit and I call irresponsibility because we are all capable of helping ourselves. I call bullshit to it because we are all capable of, and we have so much power inside ourselves that we don't need these clowns to come in and make things better for us. Whether they're trying to make America great or they're trying to be with so-and-so and do something right. Whatever their slogan is, it seems like there's so many things going on, I can't even keep up with it. And I appreciate all the emojis. I hope this is resonating with, connecting with you. That I was upset. Because I saw these people who are in such a powerful position and could do so much good in the world, using influence to try to unempower people. Right? They're not saying that I'm going to empower you with the ability to take care of yourself and make your own way. They're not saying, hey, if I'm elected, I will teach you how to fish so that you can take care of yourself and your family and the people you care about the most. No, what they're implying is that when they're elected, guess who's going to have the more fish? And so you're really in this decision on, well, do you want Hillary's fish or do you want Trump's fish? Maybe one's got swordfish, maybe one's got tuna. Which one do you want to have? And that is the worst thing we can do. Right? We're not some mindless slaves, or we're not an imbecilic group of people that we need these other people to lead us and guide us to our life, and we're not so helpless and powerless that we can't. And then you go in and you have the news people jump in there and they basically are feeding right into it. And it is so blatantly misleading. The language you use, if you ever study linguistics and then you push pause and you listen to this and you listen to that and you listen to how they structure it, right? It's mind-blowing. And I wanted to talk about this with you all today because I felt it was my responsibility to share with you what I saw in hopes that maybe it might inspire you, might move you, might make you really stop to think and not to question who you're voting for. That's not at all what this is about. I'm not telling you you should vote for any one person or other. What I care about is what you think when you decide to vote. That if you're deciding to make a decision and you're believing in someone or something, you're believing it because you really have decided that for yourself. That you're doing it because you understand that you and you alone are responsible for your life. That you are the captain of your ship and your life is going to sail wherever the fuck you decide to sail it to. And if that F were to offend some of you, I deeply apologize, and I think it's completely warranted, because right now there's two people running for office that are trying to tell us all that we are nothing more than first mates or deckhands. And that they're going to come on board, and if we can jump on ship with them, then boy, they're going to make life better. Newsflash, who can remember a time when a politician stepped up and promised all those things and their lives really got that much better? No. Because they're not controlling the stuff that matters most, your happiness, your well-being, your sense of self, the relationships you have with people in your life, your family, your friendships, all those types of things. Might they make a decision about how many taxes you pay? Yeah. And is that going to run your course of your life? Not at all, unless you decide that that's going to be the case. They're not deciding that. They're not deciding that. And here's the thing, and I apologize if I'm getting a little fired up about this. I try to tell myself, okay, you got to be careful when you're talking politics, because I don't want to get everybody to, get to the name calling or anything like that. The reason the situation, in my opinion, is the way it is now is because so many of us have sat so quietly by for so long, willingly giving our power away. Right? In the United States, government has grown astronomically, partly because there's this illusion that the government's going to come in and fix everything. Hello? That's reality knocking, saying, no, that's probably not going to happen. Well, you can fix it. It's you. It's your life. You're the one that's going to be able to fix it. Does government help in certain situations? Absolutely. There are some amazing governmental programs that I am so grateful for. Many of you who have followed me on social media for a while and have followed me around in my, I love nature, the national parks. Every time I go to a national park system, I am eternally grateful for Theodore Roosevelt delegating that and our government continuing to preserve that. But does any of us need our governmental figures to come and make our lives better? Because if you listen really closely to the language there, that's a lot of what's being implied. It's a lot of what's being implied. I'm running for office to give you fish, not teach you. There wasn't a lot of language in there about personal empowerment, about how you can go on and live a better life, about how I'm going to lead you to your best self. Right? And I think that's so tragic. I think when anybody's in a position of leadership, one of the greatest gifts of leadership is your voice. And I think one of the greatest gifts of leadership in using your voice is using it in a way to empower and inspire the people around you. That's not what we have right now. Now what we have is name calling. I find it ironic that politicians will weigh in on bullying in schools and try to say that we need to stop bullying and rid bullying. But then the two people who are running for the most powerful position, probably in the world and at least in the United States, sit up there and name call and point fingers at each other about who did what and who said what, who did this and that. What kind of example is that? If I were to have kids, I would not want them to put posters up of either one of those people. I'd want them to surround their room with things that inspire them, that motivate them, that raise them to a higher level. Not people who are going to sit there and say one thing and do something else. You want to talk about bullying and where bullying needs to stop? How about the people who go up there and put their little suits and ties on and get up and they put their flag lapels on and they try to say that they're representing and they want to make a better future for people? How the hell are you making a better future by you're literally demonstrating what you're saying we need to stop? My God. And the problem is so many of us tune into it. So many of us buy into it. So many of us subscribe to it because we willingly allow our power to be sucked away. Each and every one of you, and I say this from the most loving place possible, each and every one of you were born with the capability of so much greatness, love, fulfillment, and joy in your life. And you sure as shit do not need Tweedledee and Tweedledum to give it to you and bring it to you. What you need to do is find it in yourself. Right? What you need to do is find it in yourself because it's inside of you. It's inside of you. I really truly believe, and I want to believe in my heart, that anybody who runs for an elected office, they're running because they really believe that they can make a difference. I don't want to believe anything other than that. I want to believe that they're going, and no matter what side of the fence they're on, they're coming with the best of intentions. And I also want to make sure that I get this message out to you, which I appreciate the hearts and the thumbs up and everything that's going on here, is that you have the power. You're the captain of your ship. You get to choose where you set sail. You know, and there's going to be people in your life, whether they're politicians, whether they're employees, whether they're employers, whether they're estranged lovers, or just crummy friends that are going to try to tell you something different. In your life, you decide where the power goes. And when I say power, it's your power. And if you want to delegate it out to somebody else, that's your choice. Right now, what I feel we have in our situation and in our country is we have a situation where so many of us have delegated our power out to politicians that it's given rise to the situation we have now. We let these words that people use and we take them and turn them into something that is so all-encompassing and all-powerful. They're words, for fuck's sake. They're words. Whatever happened to sticks and stones may break our bones, but words, names will never hurt me. Boy, that's not what we get in the media, right? We get the exact opposite. It's like everything you're taught as a kid to try to live a better life. Not everything, I don't want to overgeneralize that, but the things, some of the most valuable life lessons you were taught when you were a little kid are being reversed. They're words. You've heard me say the F word a couple times. I said it in a very specific way. That word has a lot of flexibility in it. Right? A lot of flexibility. We can say it for a lot of really fun things. We can say it for a lot of really bad things. Because it's a word. It's a word. And I'm able to say that to all of you because I'm believing that you understand the meaning behind it. And it's just a word. It's just a word. We're allowing the words and the influence of others to take away, again, our power in our life. And that's what I mean by when I say the politics of power, the politics of personal empowerment. When you're delegating it out to others, when you're giving it to the person who cut you off on the freeway, when you're giving it to the person who gave you this, nasty eye or whatever it is, when you're giving it to the person who didn't call you back, when you're giving it to the person who said that your makeup sucks or you smell funny, I have news for you. No politician is going to fix that for you. Yeah, they could sign more things and more rules into law, but my God, let's be honest. How many rules and how many laws do we already have already? Do we really need that many more? No politician is giving that to you. Only you can give that to yourself. Only you can give that to yourself. I watched the presidential debate on Monday with, a tiny bit of optimism and hope. I didn't feel like it really capitalized on the hope that wouldn't go that way, but I didn't hold out too much hope for it because I felt that the debate would be par for the course of what we've seen so far. And I imagine it's going to be more. Remember this. Fear is the fuel for media. Fear is the fuel for big government. And that's not to say big government's bad or small government's good. What I am to say is this, is fear is going to be the thing that's going to drive a need for things that we may not need. In the sense that the media puts in and sells fear to us and puts it down our throat because it drives ratings, right? As they say, they say in the business, if it bleeds, it leads. And tragically, that's the case, and we see it more and more and more. I remember when I was a little kid, it used to be that if there was any sort of nasty thing happening or a horrible act of violence or some sort of atrocity, you wouldn't see that on TV. You might see some blurred out images. Boy, now the news has no problem showing that, almost live streaming it. And how far are we away from that happening? Because fear, when we feel fear, many of us will feel powerless. And when we feel powerless, what we do is we'll tend to look for strength. And who better to show strength in times of fear? Our leaders. The people who are going to come in and make everything better. Is that really going to happen? When we come back to this idea of the politics of personal power, if you want to subscribe to that fear, again, that's your choice to do it. Nobody's forcing you to subscribe to fear. Nobody's making you believe that there's fear there. Is there some scary shit out there? Yeah, for sure. But remember, it's out there. It's not in here. What's going on in there, that's you. Sure, are there things that can influence us? Are there people that can influence us? Absolutely. And that's why I wanted to make sure I mentioned this today, because I will hope that I can empower you to be able to recognize your own voice and your own decision-making ability. Again, this isn't about who's right, who's wrong, who to vote for, who's the best or who's not the worst. I hope that you make a decision for yourself should you choose to participate. And I want you to, my hope is that you make a decision for your own empowerment, your own way of life, your own quality of life. I will bet right now that we're going to be back here again 4 years from now, and whoever is in office, we're going to have the same stir up, and it's going to probably be even more dramatic. Technologies will involve, news will probably be showing people getting executed live on the news by that point. Right? I mean, it's where it seems to be going. As more and more stuff gets allowed, the more and more we're going to be able to have these kinds of situations evolve, which means it's all the more important that you take responsibility for your life, that you take over the reins, the wheel of your ship, that you assume the role, whether it's God-given or whoever it is you believe in, you assume the reins of what you were given, which is the control over your life, the responsibility to live in with the power to be happy, to experience joy, to experience a quality of life that you want. It's not a perfect world. I'll be the first to admit it. It's not. And at some point, somebody's going to be in charge. Right? They're going to be charged. They're going to be signing things into place and bills into place and whatnot, but they're not in charge of your life. See, no matter who's in charge, no matter who's president or governor or whatever position they hold, only you are in charge of your life. Only you are in charge of your life. Viktor Frankl, the man who wrote it, The Man's Search for Meaning, which if you haven't read it, I highly recommend it. This man was imprisoned in a Nazi concentration camp, tortured relentlessly. And he had this profound realization while there, and he realized that no matter how much they tortured him physically, only he could decide how he felt emotionally. He said something to the effect that the greatest freedom that one man has, and or woman, is that we have the freedom to choose our attitude. Remember that. You have the freedom to choose your attitude. You have the freedom to choose how you feel, what kind of quality of life you're going to live. And again, the two people up there that are name-calling and borderline, I mean, if we gave them boxing gloves, let's be real. How many of us think that if we gave them boxing gloves, they might duke it out a little bit, or at least have one of their cronies do it? It's not that unrealistic, right? Especially the way it's going. They can say what they want. They can do what they want. The news is going to sit there and continue to put off whatever propaganda crap that they put out. You and you alone get to decide what goes on in here and what goes on in here. It's you. It's your choice. And so you and you alone have that power. If you delegate it away, it's your choice. It's not anybody else taking it from you or doing it from you. It's your choice. And I hope that maybe this little video that's probably turned into a bit of a rant now, which I appreciate so many of you still putting positive emojis for it, has inspired you to do just that. It's inspired you to take the reins, take control of your life. It's inspired you to assume command for your life. And it's inspired you to not subscribe to what they're saying or what they're going to do, or you're not sitting around twiddling your thumbs hoping and praying that they're going to make life better. They're not. It's going to be you that's going to make life better. Whether the economy's up or down, it's you that gets to decide to be happy or not. I can promise you, I can't promise you, but I'm willing to bet this. No matter what happens in November for our political election here in the United States or yours, we're never going to have two sides. Some people are going to be really pissed off, and some people are going to feel really vindicated or validated. It's going to be, it's going to be something else. And you can guarantee the news is going to be there to spin it in whichever way is going to be the most quantifying for them, quantifying in the realm of viewership and quantifying in the amount of money they can take in for selling ads and how the hell they make their money. Your life does not have to stop or start on November, whatever it is. I encourage you, if you want to make a real statement at your time in your life, at this time in your life right now, don't wait for Trump or Hillary to decide it for you, or whoever your elected person is, wherever you are in the world. Decide for yourself now what your life's going to be like. Understand and accept the role that you've been given, that you are the captain of your ship, and make a decision about where you want to set sail to. There are some beautiful seas, there are some beautiful waters out there, and you have the ability to go anywhere and everywhere. I understand that there may be some obstacles to it, and financially we may not be able to afford it right then, but you sure as hell can start putting $2 away today and work towards that goal. Not wait for somebody to come in and change the tax laws, and then, I mean, how many of us have been through tax law changes? Does it really work out that much better? Usually not. You are going to be the one that's going to decide that. If you want something different in your life, decide to make it different. Decide to work towards making it different. God, when I was a little kid, I remember being so just inspired by the American, what did they say the American dream was? Hard work, dedication, determination, and you can realize the American dream. I still believe deeply in that. And so when I look at what America is to me, it sure as heck isn't politicians. Because what politicians are up there saying is, don't worry, elect me and I'll take care of you. Right? This person should pay their fair share. This person should pay their fair share. You know what blows my mind about fair is if you look up the definition of what fair is, it's not these discrepancies, these numbers discrepancies. Right? Is that really what fair means? What fair to me means is if I have a pen and you have a pen, then that's fair. If I have two and you have two, it's fair. When our parents would sit there and divide things up and say who gets what toys, who gets what sandwiches, who gets a cookie, right? They would discern fair by saying, okay, there's these cookies, there's 3 cookies here, you get one cookie, you get one cookie, and we'll split the other one in half. Because that's what fair is. Language that we use, we talked about that before, it's going to get twisted and turned around so many different times to push whatever agenda is out there, so you need to decide on an agenda for yourself. The agenda for your life. And your life will be robbed of so much potential and so much happiness and joy if you wait around for the agenda of somebody who's running for office to try to make your life agenda work. Nobody but you is going to make your life agenda work. Whoever you vote for in November, or whenever your respective election is, wherever you're in the world, I respect your choice, and I hope you make it from a place of really deep consideration that is honoring your beliefs and values. What I encourage you to do until then is decide whether it's now or hopefully sooner than later, is to make a decision to vote for yourself. Vote for yourself and what you're capable in life. Vote for yourself because you believe in yourself enough to decide on the course of your life and make your life an amazing one. To make your life memorable, to make it special, to make it something that leaves a legacy. And whatever that legacy is, whether it's a legacy of creating some sort of technology that changes the world, or if it's a legacy of how to be happy, or a legacy of how to be joyful, or a legacy of just how to smile throughout life. I hope you make that decision today to vote for yourself. Vote for you and believe in you. Because you and you alone have the power, have the keys, and have the capability to make your life amazing. To make your life great. I appreciate each and every one of you sitting here through this and listening. I appreciate the hearts on Periscope and all the thumbs up and emojis and hearts on Facebook Live. I hope you all found some value in this, and I hope this, if anything, you got some sort of inspiration out of this to look deep within yourself and recognize what you're capable of in your life. I appreciate. I tried to watch some of the comments as they came up, and I appreciate people being respectful of one another and their opinions. I'm going to tell you right now, if this, some of you who watch this later on, if you start bashing somebody else because of their views, I'm just going to delete the comment. Because that's not what this is about. This came from a place of love, and I hope that there's love here if the discussion evolves beyond when I end the video. And please be respectful, and please come from a place of love. Right? I really strongly encourage you that. Because that's what we need right now, and that's what I think all of us want more than anything, is to love a little deeper and love ourselves a little more. I encourage you all to honor yourself. I encourage you all to love and respect yourselves. And I encourage you all to assume command of your ship. Because you and you alone decide where to set sail. Alright, that's it for tonight. I am done. I hope this has been of value to you all. And I know I've probably said that a couple times now. Thank you everybody for sitting here and listening through this. And I want to extend my love to all of you. I love each and every one of you, even though I may never met you. I love you deeply. And I hope that those words reach you. Because we need more caring and compassion right now. And we certainly need a lot more love. And understand, too, that, again, what goes on in here and in here, that's for you to decide. All right, everybody. Have a wonderful night and a wonderful day, wonderful morning, wonderful afternoon, wherever you are. I hope it's wonderful. And like I said, after Unlock Your Greatness, we'll be doing some more regular Periscopes and Facebook Lives. Maybe it won't be quite the rant like this. It'll be a more proper thing. I see Australia just popped up. Hello, Australia. But we'll be doing more of these once we get to Unlock Your Greatness. Not this coming Saturday, but the following Saturday. All right, everybody. Take care. We'll see you next time. Thank you so much for being here. And I appreciate it. And I appreciate all the hearts, the thumbs up, the emojis that I've seen trickling through here. And I'm going to go back once I hang up here and reread some of the comments. Because I saw there was a lot being shared and I don't want to not acknowledge those. So thank you for taking the time to write them in. I will definitely do that. All right. That's it for the night. Bye-bye.